Wayfarer is a traveling guide application that assists travelers by streamlining the process of choosing which tourist attractions to visit in a new city. By asking users only for the name of their destination, Wayfarer automatically recommends tourist attractions and displays a round-trip route that traverses each of the suggested attractions. Additionally, Wayfarer allows users to customize the route by adding or removing points of interest. Before I show you how Wayfarer works, I would like to share with you how I came up with this idea.
This past Christmas break, I visited Milan, Italy for the first time. Excited to explore the city, my friends and I would rush to leave the hotel in the morning. While walking outside, we were often faced with the challenge of figuring out which tourist attraction to visit next, since none of us had access to the internet. We would usually hunt for open Wi-Fi networks in order to look up where to go next. Not knowing which attraction was closest to us, all three of us would remember a few destinations, and then I would look up on my city map that I downloaded using Google Maps where to go next. During this whole process that happened way too often, I could not help myself but notice how much time all of us were wasting looking at the screens of our phones instead of the beautiful city around us. Please don't get me wrong, it was an amazing trip, but I realized one thing.
I realized that every moment tourists spend looking at their phones instead of enjoying their surroundings takes away from their tourist experience. That is exactly the problem I tried to solve by creating Wayfarer. Wayfarer's mission is to improve its users' overall tourist experience by allowing them to fully engage with their environment while Wayfarer does the tedious work of selecting the next attraction for them to see. Now, let me show you how Wayfarer works and how it was built.
Wayfarer is an iOS application. It requires iOS 12 or later to run. Wayfarer was written in Swift 5 and developed in Xcode 11. It uses Mapbox, an open source mapping platform. Mapbox iOS SDK was implemented using CocoaPods, the dependency manager for iOS and Mac projects. For parsing HTML, I used Swift Soup. While creating Wayfarer, I used waterfall methodology because every step of the process is highly dependent on the previous step. Understanding this interdependence of the processes will be clearer once I show you how Wayfarer works. So, let's run the app. When you run the app for the first time, you will be prompted to allow Wayfarer to use your device's location services. Upon pressing Allow button, the app will display your current location in the center of the screen. The location tracking button displays intuitive behavior. While the white arrow is filled out, your current location will always be in the center of the screen, even if your location changes. Thanks to the coronavirus, my location is not changing very much these days. Once you paint the map, you will have to click the location tracking button for the app to follow your location again. Once you decide where you want to go, press the search bar and look up your destination. For example, let us store Branson, Missouri. As you are typing, Wayfarer auto-completes your search query and suggests destinations. Wayfarer is able to suggest destinations by using Mapbox geocoding API. When you see the desired destination, click on it. Here is what makes Wayfarer special, and the reason why I used waterfall methodology. Normally, the loading screen would go away after a few seconds, but I will slow it down for a moment so we can look at what is happening behind the scenes. By selecting the destination from the list of suggestions, I already know the destination name and location. Location is a pair of latitude and longitude coordinates. I use destination's name and location to update destination object. Next, I format destination name so I can pass it to Bing's search engine. Once Bing returns search results, I use Swift Soup to parse the resulting HTML DOM and get the information that I need. In other words, I get the names of the points of interest. Those are the tourist attractions that Wayfarer will suggest back to the user. Next, I find the coordinates of each of the points of interest. This was actually one of the most challenging parts of this project for me. Mapbox made their geocoding API wrapper library to be very asynchronous, but I needed to wait to geolocate each of the points of interest before moving on. So I had to open up a thread for each call to the geocoding API and wait for them all to finish. Once I had the coordinates of all points of interest, I passed those coordinates to Mapbox's optimization API. By decoding API's JSON response body and extracting the coordinates of the route, I was able to draw the route on the map and display it alongside the points of interest. Wayfarer allows you to choose the mode of transportation. It defaults to driving. It also displays additional route information and gives you directions. By clicking Directions button, a slide-up card with a list of all directions will show up. By clicking the location marker on the map, a pop-up with the attraction name will show up. You can do the same by selecting the location from the list of points of interest. In case you would like to add or remove a point of interest, you can do so. To remove a point of interest, you swipe left and press the Delete button. To add a point of interest, press the plus button and type in the location. Selecting the location from the suggestions list will add that point of interest. There is one more piece of functionality I would like to show you. Near the beginning of this semester, I scheduled a trip to Omaha, Nebraska for April 30th and was looking forward to testing Wayfarer during this trip. Of course, the trip got cancelled, so now the best I can do to console myself is simulate Omaha's location in Xcode. The functionality I wanted to show you is that if you are already in the city you are wanting to tour, you can use my location suggestion from the search bar's suggestion list.
And there you have it, an intuitive and helpful travel guide that you need for your next trip. I thoroughly enjoyed working on Wayfarer. For my senior project, I wanted to push myself by stepping out of my comfort zone of databases and web development. So I made my first iOS application. It took me nearly 150 hours to build Wayfarer. As far as the future of Wayfarer goes, I would like to make it an Android application as well and publish it to App Store. Maybe on your next trip, you can download it and let me know how it improved your tourist experience. Until then, thank you for your attention.